we want to just give a huge shout out to the Seasons of CS and the CDE Foundation. They've partnered with us this year and are really the reason we can offer stipends to our California educators, but have really just been our champions this year in putting on the EdTech Playground. So we have Kat from the CDE who is going to make some of those connections for us with computer science. And you may think, wait, I'm here at an EdTech Playground. Why are we talking about computer science? And I really love this beginning conversation around how EdTech can be your door into what computer science is. Oftentimes, if you're a teacher, learning one more thing feels overwhelming at times. And so stepping into the EdTech space, you're really stepping into the computer science space as well. There's a lot of overlap. And so we have Kat here. She is going to talk about some of those connections with Seasoned CS, and then also some of the computer science standards that we're going to be touching on today in today's playground. So Kat, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. We are so glad you are here. And again, this is the stipends, and all of that is made possible through the Seasons of CS program, through the Educator Workforce Investment Grant. And this is, while you are here for EdTech, EdTech is the perfect opportunity to have a gateway, a roadway, so to speak, on the way to the computer science concept area. So you'll see these are the ISTE standards. Those are the international EdTech standards that we have, and you'll see that they are taking you on your way toward computer science. So we will talk a little bit about the specific connections from today's workshop at the end. And I am so excited that you have the opportunity to hear from two of my favorite people today, by the way. So I will, I'll send it back over to Tawny, and thanks for being here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kat. All right, the moment you've been waiting for. We've got our speakers, and Sarah is going to do a great job introducing them today. But this being the last EdTech Playground, we have some amazing content and speakers for you. So Sarah, do you want to tell us a little bit about who we've got with us today?
Yes, I don't know if I'm worthy to be the one to introduce them, though. Super excited is an understatement to have Anne Kozma and Jornea Armant from Microsoft Flip, as well as some other entities with Microsoft. So I'll start by introducing Anne. Anne loves to encourage others to push all the buttons as they use technology to empower learners of all ages to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. She has spent 22 plus years dedicated to transforming education as a first grade classroom teacher, as a K-8 innovation and instructional support TOSA in Southern California, and now as an educator innovation lead at Microsoft. Anne is passionate about building community and helping others share, celebrate, and showcase authentic learning in the classroom and beyond. She is a member of the Apple Distinguished Educator Class of 2015. And if you were blessed to be at Spring Q in Palm Springs, she was the keynote there and did an amazing, engaging, interactive job with that. So that's an exciting piece of Anne's resume. And next is Jornea Armant, and she's the principal head of engagement for Microsoft Learning, comprised of inclusive, equitable, and accessible learning tools, Microsoft Flip, Math Solver, and Copilot. She is a learner, servant to others, and an educator for 20 plus years, and lives by these three words: love, grow, inspire. Jornea's previous experiences include being a classroom teacher, reading interventionist, instructional coach, technology coach, mentor, and the Dynamic Learning Project, Alabama State Department of Education instructional technology specialist, and keynote speaker. So we've got a couple keynotes in the house. And I'm going to pass the reins for presenting, sharing your screen to both Anne and Jornea. Thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you. And before I share the screen, there's always that transition moment where you can see everybody's faces. So it's nice to see so many folks this afternoon. We're so glad you're here, not only across California, but folks beyond California too. Beth, I see you on screen with a little llama over your shoulder and Machu Picchu behind you. So I love seeing that. And just folks, as you're tuning in today, thank you for taking the time to be here. As they mentioned, my name is Kozma, and I have the incredible honor of being an educator innovation lead on Jornea's team at Microsoft. And I want to take a moment, Jornea, if you want to say hi, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and we'll kick this thing off. But wherever you are, I hope it feels like you're sitting with friends, talking ideas, best practices, pedagogy, and yes, we're going to push all the buttons. So get ready to have some fun because that is our goal today. Not only as we talk about mental health awareness, well-being, social emotional learning, but innovation and EdTech too. So Jornea, take it away and I'm going to share my screen.
Hey, I just want to say I've already put it in the chat. On this learning journey, wherever you are, we are here for you. So stay connected with us. If there's moments where you have a question and you couldn't think about it right now, and you think about it later, reach out to us. We are 100% here to just meet your needs so that you can meet the needs of your scholars as well. So let's get started, Anne.
Absolutely. So folks, you can see on the screen the bit.ly for the slides, bit.ly/flip for SEL, and you are welcome to hop into this slide deck, use it as a resource, grab it, save it wherever you want. I know the team can share it as a follow-up too, but when I joined the team almost 6 years ago, we were focused primarily on a tool called Flipgrid. So if you've ever heard of Flipgrid, drop in the chat, let us know, maybe fist to 5, you've heard of it, you used it previously, or you feel comfortable with it. We rebranded to the name Flip a while ago, as you probably are aware of. Okay, I'm seeing 5 4s, 3s, 4s, awesome. So our team not only still focuses heavily on sharing Flip, but we support other products at Microsoft on a learning team. So if you think about learning in all its capacities and how technology is transforming possibilities, that's what today is all about. And I love that it's a playground, but it is rooted in talking about social and emotional learning. And then we're going to bring in some of the other fun products just to give you opportunities to see possibilities with AI, with Flip, with some of the generative AI artistic tools. And hopefully it's a fun delight and surprise too, all framed in social and emotional learning. So thanks for the folks sharing 3s and 1s in the classes too. I love that we have some folks who are perhaps new to this, but I do want to ask too and challenge you, not in the chat just yet, because I want to try a new tool. My friend Saba Kidwai did this, and so I have a brand new tool because I love pushing all the buttons and playing to learn, even as a learning leader as well. But I want you to think about this. What is social emotional learning to you? And in your own words. And as we get ready to do our first little hands-on activity, I know that y'all are thinking about this and having conversations in your counties, in your schools, in your districts, with your grade level team, likely about SEL, right? And these are your PLC conversations or what you're talking about. But as we go into today, thinking about the big umbrella of social and emotional learning, words that are synonymous for me are well-being, mindfulness, this big concept, right? But of course, rooting all of this in the Castle framework about social and emotional learning, bringing in what it looks like for communities and families and caregivers and schools and classrooms in those different areas you see right on the graph, right? The self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. But the big bullet points I have on the screen: feeling safe, feeling valued, and feeling a sense of belonging. Those to me are my absolute big takeaways. And this is from my time in the classroom with my students and first grade students, and things that either happened in our community or on our campus. Where are my kids feeling safe? how are they today? Those were my biggest concerns sometimes for a school day. Do my students feel valued as individuals in the classroom? Do they know that they are cared for and respected, and their diverse perspectives and voices matter? And to me, those are culminating in this big idea and big concept of belonging. And if you humor me for a moment, I want to jump in deeper on this. And so this is our first big little hands-on play-based push to learn, all the buttons. If you've never heard of Slido, this is one of those tools that allows us remotely to just get some feedback, not just in a chat, but on your device or on the phone or a different tab that you're on. Why don't you head to slido.com and use this code 3424803. And I want to ask you to answer that question. What does belonging mean to you? And I'm going to bring up the word cloud that we're generating. And this is meant to frame our perspectives, frame our ideas, and just kick off the conversation. And so why don't you take a moment, and I have them on a different screen. I'll pop them up onto the screen that I'm sharing in just a moment, but I'm seeing words starting to come in. 21 of y'all are already in it. So I'll give it another few moments. And pop this up. Jornea, can you see anybody? Okay, perfect.
Oh yeah.
So you want to start calling out some words you see?
Oh my goodness. Joy. That, that was going to be the first one my eyes went to. Yes, we feel joy when we feel that sense of belonging. I also see safety coming up.
I just changed the screen on you, so I'll go back.
Okay. I have another screen that I'm looking at. Representation, security, love, sense, meaningfulness, inclusiveness, community. I see that word community getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So many people are adding that one. I also see acceptance, feeling comfortable, representation, connection, valued. These words are amazing. And I'm sure as I'm reading those, you can see that I'm smiling because I feel a sense of belonging right now as a part of this community, the way that you all are sharing. So thank you so much for participating in this activity.
I love this too. And I know folks are still getting in, so we'll leave this up for just a second. But if we play off of that idea of community, and that is what this is, not only as a teacher innovation network or the individual counties that are represented here. Think of all the schools that are represented here. Put a shout out to your school in the chat if you haven't yet, or let us know your district. But I know community is a word that Jornea and I feel exceptionally connected to, because we worked on a community team, and community is the heartbeat of the work that we do. So shout out Bayview. I see Kimball, Los Gatos, Vista Oaks Charter, Dixon High School, Tracy Unified School District, Poet Elementary. I love this. Bear Mountain, Dos Palos. Like, this is awesome. Saddleback. Hey, Norwalk La Mirada, just down the street from me, Kelly Baker. Hey, friend. I see folks from folks from LAUSD, but these are just beautiful words that mean so many different things. And as we play off of that idea of belonging, we mentioned today we're talking about sparking SEL ideas. We're going to be talking about Copilot. We're going to be talking about Flip. We're going to be talking about Designer. And all of these are tools that we can leverage to spark and support not only social and emotional learning, but our workflows as educators. And one of the things I love saying as a TOSA was, every click matters. And to me, what that means is work smarter, not harder. And that's why your Teacher Innovation Network, that's why this EdTech Playground is a beautiful way to come together, to think about different things, to try new different tools, to learn and extend, our toolboxes of all the things, if you will. So let's keep digging into that word belonging, okay? And words that you shared: connected, comfortable, inclusiveness, acceptance. That's what belonging is. And notice all of the different words that we had are all appropriate and make sense in that context. And I'll never forget, we saw this incredible tweet come through from a good you know, a good friend in the community, Virginia Wynn, and she shared this at the beginning of the 22-23 school, and she works at Portola in Irvine, California. And she said, I began this school year proposing the theme of belonging to the principal. And the result was the Belonging Project. And so they launched a video project across their campus, simply asking that question, what does belonging mean to you? And they use Flipped. They use this to generate the responses across their community. And I love it. I just shared a screenshot of what it looks like in terms of how they set up the topic. So we're inviting Portola staff, students, teachers, alumni, parents, record a video. And I thought this was brilliant because it's not just the campus. Extend those boundaries, right? Add your name, add a response. Struggling to come up with one? Here's a prompt to kick off the conversation or help you. What does belonging look like, feel like, sound like? Is there a time you felt a sense of belonging? Tell us about that time. How do you help others feel a sense of belonging? And I loved this because something unique happened on their campus from this experience. It's separated into 5 subcategories, and they started talking about conversations in different student groups and affinity groups on campus. And they broadened the conversations, and it became this school-wide movement where the responses were shared with permission of the participants, and the entire campus would dedicate 20 minutes once a month, and everybody would watch the same thing. And it transformed community on their campus. And I want to just make a note, because this idea and this example is just to give us some grounding context about one thing, one activity, one possibility. You'll notice at the bottom it says videos have been entered for a chance to win a PTSA prize. And I'm going to give you a secret tool that they did. They partnered with student leaders on campus. They went straight to their ASB. Anybody know why? Why do you think they did that? If you want to, drop your comments in the chat or make a prediction. But it wasn't the offer of a prize. It was buy-in from the student leaders on campus. Cassandra, to get support. Exactly. They had the student leaders leading it. And that created buy-in. And it was this beautiful opportunity for people to get really excited about it. So let's dig in further, because I know this time is going to fly. And I share this often, and many of you mentioned the familiarity of a previous tool called Flipgrid, the new tool called Flip. It is the same tool. It's still completely free. It just has a new name. So if anybody was like, what happened to Flipgrid? We're still around. But Jornea, I don't know if in the next minute we want to take a very quick getting started 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to dig into some of those AI tools and go hands-on. And the goal is bridge the full spectrum. How can AI as a thought partner help you spark possibilities for using Flip in your community?
Absolutely. And I've already put in the chat, Flip really allows people to be who they are in their own special way, which truly lives out our mission to make learning fun and empowering for everyone in the world. So here's how you get started. You just go to info.flip.com on your browser. You can get the app, or you can scan this QR code. Once you are inside of that platform and sign up, you're going to do 3 things to get started. The first thing is to create a group, which is your learning community, which could be anything. It could be your classroom, it could be your teacher network, it could be your family. After you create a group, then you're going to create topics that will spark discussion amongst that community. So that could be a question, idea, it could be a birthday greeting, it could be anything that you wish. And finally, what you're going to do is you're going to share that code with your community to launch the discussion. And this is where the magic happens. This is where the belonging happens. This is where the community happens. I think I did it in 1 minute.
I know, that's kind of impressive. I shouldn't have doubted. And I know the question regarding Do folks need to be 13 to use Flip? It's for students of all ages. We love to say from pre-K to PhD and beyond. It was started in the university level, but we have folks of all ages using this. And so there's information I know Stephanie shared in the chat. But the beautiful thing is you remain in control of who has access. You determine who gets to join. You invite, base it off of your school domain or the participants on your username list that you create. But let's keep digging into this. And I know we're context setting and the idea of belonging, or the idea of feeling safe and welcome and valued, and the idea of, flip it as an idea to spark and collect and engage and extend these conversations. But everybody's talking about AI, right? And artificial intelligence is changing everything. I just saw a couple of really big nods on the screen, right? So if you have heard of AI, you have probably heard of tools like ChatGPT. And I feel like ChatGPT is this synonymous word that everybody associates with AI, but there are tools like Bard and Gemini and other tools like Magic School and Brisk and CurryPod and all of those things. And we're sharing a tool that's Microsoft's tool, and it is called Copilot. So I want to share just a tiny bit about Copilot, but my goal is to have you literally play to learn and push button.
Teachers, meet
Here's a quick
Copilot,
video. Can you
your
hear
brand
that
new
audio?
teaching assistant. Copilot is a quick and easy way to get help writing content, brainstorming lesson plans, or generating eye-catching images for your coursework. As an educator, it takes a lot of planning and effort to bring your ideas to life in the classroom. And it takes even more to make sure your students stay engaged. With Copilot, it's easy to research, write, and create new material that's tailored to fit the needs of your class. Why don't we try it out? Let's say you need help with your lesson plan about toucans living in the Amazon rainforest. Give Copilot a few details on what you're looking to include, and it will give you a class schedule and a breakdown of your talking points. Done. And with all that time you just saved, maybe you get a little curious. Did you know that toucans love to eat fruit? Really? Let's check that. Copilot makes sure to source all of its information at the bottom of your conversations, just for your peace of mind. Check out Copilot today, or download the mobile app now available for iOS and Android.
So I'm already seeing great questions like, is it like ChatGPT but better because it's tailored for educators? And what I want to share is Copilot is Microsoft's AI tool. And it is using the exact same GPT-4 and DALL-E 3 that ChatGPT is using, but there are other things that differentiate it from the other general AI tools. The things that I love about Copilot, it is citing data behind its answers. So it's transparent about sources. There is no knowledge cutoff. Copilot provides up-to-date answers, and answers are not limited by date in an AI model. And commercial data protection exists inside of Copilot as well. Copilot is not saving prompt or answers. No human eyes ever see it, and it is not used to train the model. So these are things as an educator I feel proud to share, helping other educators as you're exploring possibilities in it. Yes, completely free, and we're going to use the free version today, but you'll notice when I'm signed into my school account, it's my corporate account. But if you happen to be a Microsoft school and you are signed in, you'll notice a green bubble that says protected. So those are the differentiators to know if I'm signed into my account or if I'm not. But you simply get started by heading to copilot.microsoft.com. And so if you're in a different tab on your browser, literally type that. And I'm going to go through a few examples. And Jornea's just mentioning too, if you are a Google school and you leverage your work email, you are protected as well. So definitely look for that green bubble in the top corner. But I want to do a quick demo and show you how I'm using it literally to start sparking ideas as an educator for SEL in my classroom. Tawny dropped the link in the chat. Again, it's copilot.microsoft.com if anybody wants to click on that, and it'll launch in your browser. But you'll see right here, in Copilot, I said, create a 2-week social emotional learning plan for my 5th grade classroom. Include context for a novice teacher new to incorporating SEL and wellness into their classroom. Base it on the Castle SEL framework. Include a 1 to 2 minute mindfulness activity to frame perspective and ideas for how educators can use Flip, formerly known as Flipgrid, to capture and share learning, mindfulness moments, or reflections. So I included a few things in my prompt, like a new or novice teacher. And that's just maybe because I'm new to SEL, or maybe I've not been into any training that's been provided, or maybe I don't know really where to get started. And I gave it some context that I want it to reference that Castle framework. And I want a 1 to 2 minute mindfulness activity because I'm trying to get to all the things. And I want an idea of how I can extend it using Flip. So I know this is really small as this plays on the screen, but it literally begins to structure a 2-week plan, day by day, week 1, with an objective, an activity, and a Flip integration idea. So I'm sharing this simply to help build context again around, oh yeah, I could totally use AI as my thought partner to start sparking new well-being things. And the activity or the objective or a mantra or an affirmation, and I'm going to pick any one of these random things. Learn about making responsible choices, and it could be a case study on decision making and students debating different choices and potential outcomes, or starting with 60 seconds of silence focusing on a sound or an image. Listen to the bell and raise your hands when the sound is no longer heard, and reflect on something positive or an act of kindness. So these are just starting points to extend this, but I want you all to try this. I want you to launch Copilot, and I want you to come up with a prompt inside of it. And I'm going to give you a moment to do that. But here's another one that hopefully is a little bit easier to see. It says, create a table with 5 days of SEL activities and mindful moments and affirmations for a 4th grade classroom. And I love that Copilot says, hey, here it is. There's an SEL activity, a mindful moment, and then a daily affirmation. And Jornea and I just had the privilege of doing this with students and junior high and high school students at the Orange County AI Summit recently. And we literally had Copilot create these affirmations. So if anybody wants to, now's a great time in your device on a different tab, start playing. Because in a moment, I would love for you to share, copy and paste an idea, or copy and paste a big concept that you've got, or what is getting returned for you. And I'm going to give this just a moment too, some of that think time and work time, and check the chat because I know some folks
And I do see some questions in the chat. So
Yep.
If for some reason it's asking you to sign in, it's either you're already logged into like a managed device with your school network, etc. So it's going to prompt you to try to utilize a sign in that you might already have. To bypass that, if you want to leverage like a incognito window or a private tab, and then that way you will be able to use Copilot without signing in at all. It won't have that protected icon like Anne showed, but you will be able to access Copilot. So hopefully that answers that question, Tawny, that I see in the chat.
Nanette too, I think the incognito window is a good thing too. And these are examples on screen too. So if you want to just kind of check out what's on screen, if you're not able to get in, there are a couple opportunities that we're going to have to push buttons, play to learn. So Cassandra, a great question for incognito. In the top right corner of your browser, there should be 3 dots, and usually the incognito window is in there. On Edge, for me, it's called a private browser.
Or new private window,
Yep.
something along those lines.
Yep.
Or on Google Chrome, it'll say incognito window.
Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch it also right here. And I'm going to bring up and come to my Copilot window. And I'm going to do the same thing and say, create a week-long SEL plan for my, and let's just go 6th grade, include an activity that takes approx 5 to 10 minutes and a daily affirmation.
And Anne, if you don't mind, copy that lovely prompt and go ahead and show how to get to that private tab. So we have some folks saying they're not 100% sure how to do that. So I can see your lovely screen, and it's just copying her prompt. She's going to go to our lovely 3 dots. Y'all, there's goodness behind 3 dots, all right? Hit that new in private window, or yours might say incognito window. We're going to go to Copilot here, and what you're going to notice is Anne's is going to look different now because she's not in that work environment anymore. So all she's going to do is pop in that prompt, and then Copilot will magically, in seconds, give her that lovely plan for her classroom without signing in, okay?
Okay, and I'm seeing some folks have disabled if they don't have an ability to get into an incognito window. Perhaps that's something that's disabled on your district devices. The good thing about this too is if this is sparking an idea of something you want to explore at home on your browser, or even if you choose to download the app on a device, a great place to try too. But I want to zoom in on this and then get back into the slides and keep moving on. But notice some things here. It's giving a quick activity, and Jornea is going to love this. It brought up roses and thorns. This is something we do as a team, right? Highs and lows, all of those learning moments, and celebrating and reflecting on something. I love the affirmation, I'm capable of handling challenges. And maybe that's just a moment of reflection or a 30-second mindfulness moment before the end of the day or the dismissal, right? I'm just going to go, I don't know, let's pick Thursday as a random one. Reinforce the week's topic, engage in a class, group, or independent activity related to what they've learned, allow students to apply skills they've acquired, right? Have students reflect on things, celebrate the efforts. I love this. Share, celebrate, and showcase are 3 words I love to say too, but this is just one thing that could be done. And notice there are abilities to take it into different places, like you could edit it in Excel or bring it into a Word document, etc. So those of you who are not able to get into a private browser tab, just note this is something to, if you want to try it on a different network, etc., if you're on your home device and you're doing some exploration or learning. So
And
that
you know
was
what
just
I love about those examples? It's a starting point for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to utilize those same activities, but your beautiful teacher brain plus that rapid response from Copilot will get us to a great place for lessons for our students. And that's what I absolutely love about it.
Okay, and I was just cruising the chat too to make sure. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this and get back into the slides. And anybody who was able to try it, if you want to pop things into the chat and share an aha moment, etc., I'd love to hear it. So bring that into the chat. Perfect. So create a lesson on courage for 3rd grade students. I love that, Rita. So anybody share your idea, share your prompt in the chat, because that's another beautiful thing about this. It's literally sharing and learning with and from each other. So Jornea, I'm going to click through slides, but you know I'm going right into Designer 2. If you want to talk a little bit about this, but let me kick you all off with this thought. I love sharing on social. It's how I know many of you. And Sarah Colbeck, I'm looking at you. Like, we got connected on social before we ever met in real life at a Q conference. But one of my friends, Erica Sandstrom, she's known as Green Screen Gal on social. She said, hey, what about a mindfulness moment with generative AI? And perhaps you've seen some of these tools that are now starting to create images and use AI to create images. So I tweeted this out last October. It said, I took an AI-inspired mindfulness moment with Bing Image Creator. It's now called Microsoft Designer. And I was inspired by my friend Green Screen Gal, who suggested using AI to visualize a favorite location. Anybody know this location? My favorite on planet Earth is Joshua Tree, right? So I've been going out there since I was 14 years old, and these images that were created by designer were just absolutely beautiful. So this is another moment to describe. Jornea, do you want to talk about designer, and I'll just kind of click through some of the slides?
Oh my goodness. I think designer is the wonderful place to start an AI journey when it comes to prompting. And as an educator, the first thing that comes to mind is my visualization lessons that I have for my students and how important it is to use those nice, juicy, descriptive words to really be able to explain something. And so, once again, this could be leveraged as a lesson for your students, not only with SEL, but so many other content areas across your curriculum.
So you talked about juicy language and descriptors. I think about being first grade and a first grade educator talking nouns, verbs, and adjectives all the time. So Jornea, we're going to go into image creator, and folks, just clicking back through these, this is another one. Try designer.microsoft.com. If you're in the slide deck, you can literally click on it and it'll link it for you. But designer will take you to a generative AI tool where you can create your own images. And the reason I love this as a great starting point is there are prompt templates. So not only image creator, sticker creator, design creator, the generative erase, remove background, all of those types of things. Here's my pro tip. I told you I love to play to learn and push all the buttons. When you hover over any of these, you're going to see the prompt that was used to create the image. So you also have the ability to generate your own. So generate an image of a calm desert scene filled with Joshua trees and a long path to walk on and a beautiful sunset sky. And this is what I got, right? So I'm looking at the chat and I'm loving what you're sharing about your prompts. Right? This is incredible, Violet, a 5-day plan for SEL activities, mindfulness moments, affirmations for students with special needs. Create a lesson on gratitude, goodbyes to end every day. Oh my God, create a lesson for a basic middle school debate activity. That's awesome, Brianne. Kindergarten students, midday mindfulness and gratitude goodbyes. Sounds like this is something that you all have begun to explore, but maybe these new AI sparks new possibilities. But I wanted to take a moment and play with these as well, but to take a mindfulness moment. So what about this as a prompt? Create a peaceful scene of a vast meadow in front of a series of rolling hills and a dreamy blue sky, and fill the meadow with all kinds of flowers and various colors. So what I'm going to do again is ask you, push some buttons. Let's play to learn right now in this time. And I'm going to launch my tab, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll come into an in private window and show you from there, and go to designer.microsoft.com. And you'll notice this is the tool. I'll grab the link and drop it right in the chat for everybody. But I want you to try this as well. And notice, I talked on, let's use this. A gigantic blue whale swims below a sailboat in the ocean with cinematic lighting. Or any of these, when you click on and you hover over it, you begin to see the prompt. But the really cool thing is you could click on it and you actually get the template. So I love this. With students, this is how you can teach prompt engineering too. Really creative ways. So let's go ahead and take a moment. And if you want to click on any of these and use it as a starting point, this is really pretty, a dark alleyway dystopian with yellow streetlights and wet roads. Take a mindfulness moment and generate something. And if you don't have designer available, this might be one of those things. Again, I don't know. And this is like a good learning moment too for us, that there are sometimes schools that might not have these tools available for districts, and that helps start conversations. And even if you're exploring AI, or if your district hasn't released a protocol or policy on how to do it. And for the Teacher Innovation Network, folks at the county, this might be a good thing too, that helps that we can figure out new opportunities to support and explore, like, oh, are these things blocked? And we don't know. but those are things that your district support team might have better insight on for us. But Jornea, let's start from the very beginning. And I want to see if you did this to me once, so I'm going to come right back at you in a fun way, and maybe we leverage the chat and do a group mindfulness moment. So Jornea, guide us, and I'll be the typer, and we can generate some images together.
Okay, so let's create a scene where it will allow us to think positively in the morning time.
And I'm just going to add or early AM. I don't know why I'm adding that.
Get our students started
Okay.
in the morning.
So I'm going to sign in. And in fact, there's the block right there. Let me come back and I'm going to launch it here because I'm already signed in over here and regenerate this. Sorry, real quick, y'all. Helps frame mindset. Should we say that?
Sure.
Okay, in the AM. I don't know why, again, I feel very particular about in the AM. Why should I add this? Okay, so it's not us, it's you, something going wrong. So maybe it's the internet at home. We'll see if this generates for me. But there's some great questions that are coming up. Is the image generated safe for students to use? If you open Copilot, can it prompt and create an image? It will appear in Copilot instead of having to open it in Designer. So 2 questions, and yes. If you want to, you absolutely can create images inside of Copilot. So it's the same type of prompt, generate an image, etc. Sarah G, I don't have the specifics, but what I love to share is I know that Microsoft is very strict about responsible and ethical use of AI. In my own personal generations, I have not come up with anything that is not safe for students to use. We have used it for students, but yes, I feel very confident in saying that it is those responsible things are built in to safeguard your user experience. Jornea, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but I'm going to zoom in on these 2. But when we share this in confidence that we feel that it is a safe tool, and all of those things are built in the way that the tools are created to be used.
And you know what I love about this is so open-ended, and I love asking students what do you notice? What do you wonder? What would you change? Right. And I see in the chat, I think it's Farida mentioning create a happy students in the scene. What would you add to it to make it what you want it to be? Right. So the same thing for our students, right? When we have ideas, the beautiful thing about community is when we share, we can refine those and make things so much better. So absolutely love all the feedback in the chat. And once again, the more descriptive you are, the better it is at creating. So we just said an overall scene, but if I specifically stated in the French Quarter of New Orleans, Louisiana, right, then it would put the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana, or as Anne mentioned, Joshua Tree, right? So those moments where we want our students to be super specific on the things that bring joy to their lives. They can add those to their images inside of Designer as well.
So we'll see how quickly this pops up, because I know too, as we're playing and kind of exploring possibilities, there's a ton more that we want to share. So I'm going to give this just a moment, see if we get a French Quarter. But this is another, again, thinking about an EdTech playground and pushing all the buttons. Perhaps you've not explored generative AI yet. This is a very fun tool to begin to try. And Jornea, what do you think about this?
I love it. I mean, it showcases our flood waters.
Right?
I love the last one. That one is gorgeous. It brings joy to me.
Cool. And Brianne just shared a very basic design of an image in a rainstorm with a stream in the background and evergreen trees. So those fun options. create happy students in the screen. I notice a practice account. So Coral, there isn't a practice account necessarily needed. I would encourage you, if you can get into that default browser window and use Copilot and just say generate images in there instead of in Designer. But y'all have already tried it. I know some of you are experiencing a few little hiccups in getting into it, but any thoughts or any share your prompt, right? I love what people are dropping in the chat in terms of what you're trying. That way others can get ideas too. But I mentioned before we got started, I'm going to have way more content, and Jornea and I have way more content to fill out this time. And some of it is just for you to take away in the slide deck. And so these are ideas of how you can leverage Copilot and Flip and Designer together. And this first example on screen is for K-5 classrooms. And I love the SEL superheroes idea, number 6. With Copilot's help, students can create their own SEL superhero character that embodies qualities like resilience, empathy, or cooperation. They can share their hero story on Flip and design the logo with Microsoft Designer. Oh my God, somebody just shared in the chat, wedding anniversary, Hawaii sunsets and mountains. That sounds gorgeous. Another example for junior high classrooms, right? Gratitude walls. Create a digital gratitude wall where students can design a post of what they're thankful for using Designer. Share and celebrate that in the classroom. You could have it on Flip and share a mixtape of all those as that highlight reel. I love these are ideas for high school classrooms. Debates, we mentioned that earlier, the debate where they discuss SEL topics or the importance of mental health, and encourage respectful dialogue amongst their peers with that, and sharing it and maybe extending it on Flip or creating an image to go and support that. So these are 3 big ideas, just pages with information and example for you to read through at your convenience, but definitely wanted to include it. And in the last little chunk of time, in the less than 10 minutes to go before we really move into like a Q&A time, we can't not share ready-to-use resources. So, Jornea, I know you are as passionate, more maybe because you helped launch it into the world, the Discovery Library inside Flip. But we have a bunch of slides to click through, and I'll let Jornea lead the conversation, and I'll navigate the slides and jump in with any context too. But Jornea, you know, we both love sharing, so take it away.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to say, every educator on the call can probably finish this sentence. As educators, we are better together. And that's what Discovery Library is. It is a place for you to find content that's already created by other educators and also some fabulous partners. We have over 100 partners that are working with us to provide their content in the form of topics that's readily available for you. So when you are signed into Flip, all you're going to do is go to your profile image, and then you'll see the drop down with Discovery there. Okay. Once you are there, it is like a treasure chest, y'all. And we try to make sure to meet the needs of our educators by pulling content that's going to be relevant and timely for you as well. And so you will see that we have a special collection for social and emotional learning right inside of Flip. And it looks just like what we see on the screen. So you'll see that thumbnail image. And once you are inside of there, you're going to see topics that have been curated. And Anne does a fantastic job every single month doing a refresh on these topics. So these are handpicked by the Anne Kozma for you. So it's a great, way to be able to use it and say, not only thank you to Anne, but these wonderful partners and educators who are pouring their resources into Discovery. So you see Fred's Big Feelings there that goes right alongside of a book, or Dolls Are Us by ADL Education, really talking about how we can have representation across the board, or What is Empathy by one of our educator friends that are leveraging video assets and resources that are already there. So great resources to get you started.
Yeah, and so Jornea talked about resources and partners, and we do have partner content in Discovery too, like Mind Up. If anybody's ever heard of the actress Goldie Hawn, Goldie is very passionate about well-being, mindfulness, mental health, and so they have a foundation that's helping young folks learn about balanced lifestyles and the tools and knowledge they need for mental health and well-being. So you'll notice all of these topics just become available. And I love this one, for example, all about gratitude. And you can see it's been used in a way that's triggered over 3 days of human conversation on this one topic alone. So I love coming in and exploring what's in Discovery simply because this is like a ready to use. You don't have to create from scratch. You can find topics already built for you. Jornea, share about Empatico.
Oh my goodness, Empatico has my heart. So Empatico is another free platform where you can connect your students with other students around the world. And so Empatico's mission is truly to bring the empathy in the forefront of student learning. And so all of their topics has to do with the development of, human beings, these little humans that are inside of our classroom, for them to, be proud of themselves, but also, be connected in positive ways to other people as they're learning how to be kind, as they're learning how to be great community members. These are phenomenal topics. And you see on the side, like some of them have been used over 200, 300 times. So educators are absolutely loving these topics.
So another resource I want to share only really quickly, because if you have ever heard of reflect.microsoft.com or the Feelings Monster, this is also available inside of Flip, but it's another Microsoft resource available for you called Reflect. And it's all about designing connection, expression, self-awareness, empathy, emotional growth opportunities through conversation. So you'll see different topics. These I love sharing because they're available in English and in Spanish. You have different curated collections about emotions, emotional skills, etc. And these little creatures are called the Feelings Monster. Gloria just shared, she's a super fan of the Feelings Monster. So just something that's just a brilliant opportunity fostering these conversations. So I did mention there are a ton of them specifically available in Spanish. Of course, everything inside of Flip and all of these topics, including these partner topics, are free inside the Discovery Library. But talking about creativity, feelings of skepticism, gratitude, how do you take on challenges? How do you apologize? So beautiful learning moments and opportunities. And I want to take a moment and just think about the Discovery Library. And again, what I was going to do was very quickly show you how to access it. And I know our time is running out, but when I come in to Flip in my own account, and I'm just going to log in the top right corner, I click on Discovery and it'll launch Discovery for me. And you will notice 48,000 ready to use topics. And all of these, as mentioned, are completely free. You can browse by subject. You can find trending topics. This is where you find all of that incredible partner topics. So if you've never been in here, it's a beautiful resource to check out. But I mentioned that Microsoft Reflect topic. And so I just want to point out how you would use it and add one of those topics. So let's just come right here. This one, making space for emotions. And notice it's a preview of what the topic looks like. And if you want to use it, you can simply add it to your Flip group, create a new group, or even save it for later. So that's the world's quickest mention of Discovery, but this is a database ready for you, or you could even do a general search and look for topics. But as we get ready to shift into wrapping up the slides and move into Q&A for this playground, don't ever underestimate the power of search and going into Discovery and literally using that search bar and searching for your own custom topic. This icon right here is another featured collection we have because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we have a featured collection specifically curated for mental health awareness, etc. And we love talking about this because as educators, we know everybody is working so hard and plates are full and time is precious. So this is a beautiful resource to share to help you work smarter, not harder, and literally give you topics that you can use at your fingertips. So as we get ready to wrap this up, we just want to remind you the opportunities are endless. And we hope that kind of this exploration has really been a way to help you spark ideas. And whether it's starting with belonging or going into it and creating something like this for yourself or your own classroom. And I want to challenge you all to perhaps join this group and add your own response. This is set up as a global group for educators. We use this group. It's Think It, Flip It, flip.com/Think It, Flip It. If you want to take a moment and add a response before the end of the week or the end of the school year, we'd love to see them come in. It's a group that we use with educators in our trainings, and this is one that we've used once before. It's not very active, but it's a beautiful way to just reflect on all of the things we've discussed today. And it's available for you to try if you want to, but no pressure. We're not going to make you if you don't want to. And there's time for Q&A, and we specifically structured this so that folks can ask questions, and whether that's in the chat, I think we've tried to go through and keep some active. Perhaps the folks on the from the county offices, if you noticed any that we missed, if people want to head into the chat now, I'm going to take a quick cruise and see what I missed in the chat. But this is definitely Q&A time. We are here to help. Let us know what questions you have. Every question is on the table. Don't be embarrassed to ask, even if it's like, where do I push a specific button? So let me take a moment and look at the chat.
Thanks, Anne. And I just want to let you know, I was browsing through the chat and you all did such an amazing job of answering the questions as they were coming up. So if people have new questions, now that we've had a chance to hear from Anne and Jornea, that you would like to add in the chat, or if you want to unmute or raise your hand, please do let us know. This is our time where we get to ask them questions. And I had my own question, so I'm going to start with that, which is, selfishly, I'd like to hear a little bit more about the AI Summit. I've seen it on socials and I've been super curious to hear, and I feel like it's a great example of ways to sort of put students at the forefront. So maybe you want to start with a little bit of that, and then after that, we'll pass to Gloria, who has her hand up.
Jornea, do you want to kick it off on the OCI?
Sure. Well, I'm going to give a shout out to our friends in Orange County because they shared this wonderful opportunity with us. Their students participated in learning about AI at an adult conference, and the students actually created an experience where they led sessions. They had breakout sessions and keynotes during this day. And so Anne and I actually served as a mentor to students who were sharing about their experiences with AI. And it was super cool to just hear the students' perspectives on just the future of their education. You know, I think back to gosh, like when I was younger, and I don't know if y'all remember that AOL dial-up sound, right? Like that was innovation back then, right? And we don't even have to deal with that now because the internet is basically a part of our daily lives. And so, you know, for these students, you know, this is kind of like the onset for something new for all of us, but this will be a part of their daily life for the rest of their lives, which is incredible. And so, you know, once again, it allowed us to not only share with scholars, but also learn from them, learn about their fears, learn about the things that they want to be able to do with the technology, learn about, you know, guardrails that need to be in place, things that they, you know, may be innovating things that we haven't even thought about, of how AI might be able to help them in their daily lives. So it was a beautiful summit. I encourage each of you to go back to your schools and think about how can we even empower our students to share what they already know. And goodness, your students know about AI, even if you haven't talked about it yet. My daughter even taught me about all these platforms that she's on that has AI already embedded that I didn't know about. So this is a great opportunity to open up the conversation with your scholars, learn from them, and learn right alongside them. I think it's a great moment for us, a great transformation of education.
And I just dropped the link in the chat. I know I shared it on screen for a moment, but for anybody who's curious, or perhaps even if you want to dig in, I know Wes and Kunal, they're doing this for Orange County specifically, but as counties and regional areas are exploring this, it's a great group of folks at our county Department of Ed who I know would be willing to talk about it, or, broaden it. And maybe it becomes all the stuff that Kat is doing at the state level with computer science and conversations related to EdTech and CS and AI. So great question. I did see Gloria's about connecting with other kindergarten teachers in another country to begin the conversation. Jornea, do you want to take what a grid pal is?
Yeah, you know what? And I actually put in Empatico is the perfect platform to actually make the connection, because you can actually go on Empatico and find other classes that's looking to connect, just like you're looking for right now. But then you can take that learning to Flip so that the students can communicate with each other and share with each other and learn from each other. So Empatico and Flip are totally better together. But that could be the perfect place for you to find that other teacher who's looking for that same connection.
Yep, and I just dropped in the link. Oh, and Stephanie's doing the same thing. So Jinx, we sent in the Empatico link. I also shared a link to the idea of grid pals and how you can evolve the grid pals concept from Flip to partnerships with Empatico, or how you could set up your Flip group and welcome a collaborating teacher as a co-lead, and have those kind of collaborations too. So great question, Gloria. Thank you. I saw that thumbs up too. Jornea, tell us about the artwork behind you, because I love that question.
Yes, I actually was typing in the chat to Rita. But yeah, art makes me happy. So anything full of color, full of wonder, things that make me stop and think and feel inspired, I love to have surrounding me. And the artists who made these are actually sisters in Chicago. So I'll find their link and I'll add that to the chat for anyone who's interested in the art.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to share this on screen too. I did drop a link in the chat. Those of you who are wanting to go a little bit deeper with Copilot, this is a brand new resource that our team collaborated on with folks in our Microsoft AI org. But the interesting thing here that we're pointing out is you can find resources by different roles. So we really wanted to support IT professionals, perhaps working at district or county levels, schools if there's like an IT lead, some of those like technical documentations, the privacy protections, etc. If you want resources that go further, resources for educators. And I love there's a quick start guide. How do you teach and learn with Copilot? 5 ways to use Copilot. An AI classroom toolkit for students, in that upper junior high school age span. How do you write a prompt? So these are brilliant resources that we put, we have our educator thinking cap on and advocate for internally, and want to make sure they are beautifully rich, dynamic resources for different roles available. And even extending to parents and guardians, like, what does family safety need? Like, what do you need to know as a family about, your kids are coming home and talking about AI, and I don't know what this means, and what are they doing? What is generative AI 101? So this is a really cool resource. It's brand new, that Microsoft is making available for you. But as you're exploring, I definitely, listen, I'm going to say it again, push all the buttons. This is one that you want to click and play in, because there's all the information you could possibly want to know. And if you are learning and playing with different AI tools, these concepts are relevant. They're universal. And of course, we love and share and use Copilot as our tool, but we want you to feel comfortable and confident and safe in how you are exploring AI as a leader. And we think that our, you know, our product is the one that we love to share, but this is a tool that will help you no matter where you are, what school you're at, what you're doing. And the caveat to that is, let us know how we can help. This is what we do. This is our job, to come alongside you and help explore. We provide free professional development. We love to partner with, you know, counties and organizations and districts and schools for thought leadership. And if you're looking for us to lead things, we're happy to do it. But this is a dynamic resource I had to make you all aware of.
And I would say, and you know, for our team, we put best practices over products, right? And so we understand that our educator community, our global educator community, has access to various tools. And so I would love for you to even take some of the, you know, the thoughts behind what we showed within specific tools that we showed, and you can apply it to other tools. Okay. And so don't feel like if you don't have access to these tools within your school community that you can't use these resources, because they're great. And if you need a thinking partner or a planning partner, our team offers that free professional development. So whether it is for teachers, for students, or even for families, we even have done PD for parents so that they can get prepared and understand what is generative AI. Reach out to our team. We'll put our request PD link in the chat as well for you to access. But don't feel like you can't ask us anything. Ask us any and everything. We're here to help you.
Yep.
I see Jamie has a hand up too, and
okay, and I just saw another really cool one. Somebody's asking about the links. Tawny's already on it. Yes, they've collected all of the links. They'll be shared in an email out. Let's make sure we get the slides included in that too. And Stephanie and team, I can make sure we share the link to that Copilot. And then I saw a question about, can we upload our own picture and ask AI to change it to animation, place it in a classroom, thinking about asking my students to create a scene with their image, their graduation, and everything included. They've learned an AP calculus. I love this. So y'all, here is the truth. I'm a lifelong learner. I did not know this tool existed at Microsoft until earlier today. It's called create.microsoft.com. So this is a brand new one. I've been living in Copilot. I've been living in Designer, but this is one, oh, I already have it in the chat. Let me click send. This is another beautiful one that allows you to begin to do some more of that deeper editing. So I know that, I think is what you're asking regarding like more specific editing. But there's definitely ways that you can go and create, whether it is leveraging, you know, the templates or not. So that might be a great question to try out. The other thing regarding taking your own picture and change it to animation, I don't think that exists in Designer the way that you're asking it to, but I bet that's something that's potentially in development somewhere, and maybe it's this create tool. I just don't know it yet. So I wanted to share it as a possibility and say, I'm still learning about AI as much as all of you are too. So I appreciate that question, and I'm going to be pushing some buttons after this wraps up and seeing what I can do and the extent of what I can do with that. Kelly Baker, great idea. Microsoft has a program to help you write apps using AI. So there's a ton of resources that we'll be sharing with the team behind this Teacher Innovation Network in all the counties. We have some great learning modules at Microsoft Learn that really help people go deeper into how you can use AI. So those are all things that we can follow up in links with too. Kelly, thank you for sharing that. All right. Any other questions? I want to make sure we're not missing anything.
Yeah, in our last 2 minutes, I just want to make sure Janie had her hand raised. So to give Janie a chance to ask her question.
Perfect. There it is. I must have missed it.
Yeah. I was just wondering, before Flip was easier to share with families, like back when you could like set a topic to public, but now I have issues like when I try to share it with my personal account to test things out, or is there like an easy way to make it available to students beyond my domain?
Yeah, so there's a couple different routes, and we like hacking everything. So if you do have a list of like your parent emails, you can add that into your parent emails. Or if you want to just share a private video, let's say it's for one student, you don't want all the families to see just that parent, you can send a private link and that family will still be able to see that video. So it will just kind of depend on your purpose, but we do have a Help Center article that I will find for you, Janie, so that you can see all those wonderful options that's available.
Yeah, and like I meant, like you guys said about the belonging, you know, where the community replied to it, and not just like sharing it out like a mixtape. That kind of sharing.
Absolutely.
To clarify too, where I went in the Help Center is the guest, like there's a guest access too. Are you familiar with that inside of Flip, that you can invite your community with a guest password?
No, I don't know where that is now.
Okay, so let me grab this. This is how you can invite participants beyond your domain. And again, here's how I'm sharing this in the link for everybody too, because this is how folks are doing like career days or talent shows, or inviting the superintendent or the mayor or the fire chief or a subject matter expert from a local organization. So guest passwords allow you to invite a guest into your topic, but not give them access to your entire group. Again, with you just keeping things only the people you want to invite, you remain in control of. So that might be what you're looking for too. And then another share option is the augmented reality QR codes. So every video that's submitted to Flip has a QR code automatically generated for it. And we call that Flip AR. So when they watch the video through that QR code, it's an augmented reality like display video. So imagine how it transforms your bulletin boards or the message on your classroom door. So I'm dropping that in the chat as well too. Thank you for that question. All right. And I know, shout out to the team, Stephanie, y'all are collecting all of these resources too, links to share. So thank you.
Yeah, and thank you both so much for sharing your expertise. I love all the ways that Flip is sparking creativity and conversations with our students and also the community. I love the way that we started with that idea of belonging and sharing out a topic to your greater school community. So at this time, we're going to pass it back to our team just for some closing pieces. So I'm going to pass it to Tani.
All right, thank you. And just in terms of screen sharing, if we could, Jared, get the slides. Oh, team is so great, already on it. If we could just back up one slide, we do want to just emphasize that really everything that they shared today was free for educators to use, which is something that I absolutely appreciate and love. You know, as an educator, it's disheartening to learn about something and then realize I got to go ask for money for someone so I can play with this. So thank you, Jornea and Anne, for making just all of these resources, you know, known to us, and they're accessible in so many ways for educators. Like we've mentioned before, and I'll say it one more time, we have collected all the links. There are so many links shared today to dive into. So we'll be emailing those out. And definitely feel free to connect with Jornea or Anne on social media. We've got their handles up on the screen. Their contact information will also be in the follow-up email as well. So ask your questions away, you know, after this meeting if you've got some other ones that you didn't have a chance to voice during our Q&A time. And with that said, we're going to start moving into closing out our very last EdTech Playground for the year. In a moment, I'm going to hand it over to Kat, who's going to make some amazing connections to our computer science standards. We weaved in and out of those all night tonight. I'm really excited. And then we're going to talk about how to get with us for next year. And
please come here.
Signing out for this very last event tonight in order to receive information about the stipend. So hang in with us for that. And then we'll end with a really cool Padlet. So we can move forward to our next slide where I'm going to hand it over to Kat.
Thanks, Tawny. And thank you so much to Anne and Jornea. What I loved was truly not just specific standards, but an entire computer science practice and concept were really at the heart of everything that we heard today. So the very first practice in the computer science standards is fostering an inclusive computing culture. And hearing both Jornea and Anne talk about making sure that our students feel safe, that we have ways for them to connect as a community, to help them see themselves in our curriculum is truly a great way to foster that inclusive computing culture. And one of our core concept areas for computer science, and these go K-12, is impacts of computing. And so as we are in this digital world where there is technology all around us, the fact that we can leverage technology and show kids how to leverage technology to support their social emotional learning and to make positive impacts in the world is on point and amazing. And so definitely in line with that. And if you do want to learn more about CS, I think Tawny might be telling you, or someone might be telling you about some more opportunities. But thanks so much to everyone.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that, Kat. And what a great transition to one more resource we're going to just drop on you, and we'll put it in our follow-up email as well. But Create and Learn is another amazing resource that our team just found out about. And it's this new platform that really is there to support the teacher in learning, not only building their own computer science capacity, but also to have this AI tutor that helps them learn computer science, which I thought was a really cool connection. So our team is they just dropped the link in the chat for their website, and this website is chock full of resources. They have, virtual PD for teachers and students and even parents around computer science and AI specifically. So up on this screen, you can see there's a lot of different events and opportunities. And then if we go to the next slide, it highlights one of their really amazing AI-based tools called Athena, and it acts as a personal tutor for educators in learning how to teach AI, some AI or computer science, some computer science foundation, if you want to bring it into the classroom. So definitely check out their resource. Our team is potentially talking with Create and Learn as one of our speakers for our next year's EdTech Playgrounds. But their tools were just so exciting. We wanted to give them to you before we all signed off for the summer. Because we all have nothing better to do over the summer than dive into 1,000 different resources, right? So definitely check out Create and Learn. And then I'm going to pass it over to Anu, who's going to talk about some exciting ways to get ready for next year and also join our Facebook group. Anu, all you.
Yes. Hi. So we said that this is our last EdTech Playground, but guess what? This is just our last one for this academic year. We're taking a short break, a pause, while we get ready for the next one. So we will be starting back again in August. And what we have at the end of our slide is the link for registration. So this is just a calendar hold. It doesn't have the dates yet. You will get a notification when we have the dates scheduled for the next year. So if you want to calendar it as a reminder, just register. And when you register, you will see that it says TBD. So that is the link for our next EdTech Playground for the next academic year. It was great to have you all here.